A beef is blowing up on social media. Kodak Black and Young M.A. are going back and forth after a controversial song lyric.
Yeah, it all started when folks noticed Kodak's new track, Pimpin Ain't Eazy, had anti-lesbian slurs and even references Young M.A. Now here to join us to talk about Young M.A.'s response is OK Player music editor Etlive. Evie, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Obviously on the track, Kodak Black raps some anti-lesbian slurs several times. And as I realized that this is not the first time he's kind of mentioned or called out Young M.A. in his music. But with this most recent track, she had gone on the record on Instagram Live and called it weird. And she says, I know I'm a female, but at the end of the day, that's not my preference. So walk us back a little bit, because as I mentioned, this is not the first time he's kind of made advances on Young M.A. in his music. When did this whole beef actually begin?
It appears to have started when Nicki Minaj posted a photo with Young M.A. and Kodak Black commented on the photo that he was interested in both of them, obviously in a sexual manner. And it's kind of escalated since then. He's made a lot of comments publicly about Young M.A. to Young M.A. and she seems to be very uncomfortable with her commentary in response to him, and she finally addressed him recently. And his latest video has sparked a lot of concern because of a particular statement that he said. So it's not necessarily about his lyrics this time. It's about what he's actually saying.
And what does he actually say without, if it's derogatory, obviously we can't say too much.
It's really derogatory. But I can't even say it. That's how derogatory it is.
Fair.
But in light of his pending trial, it doesn't seem to be in the best light in terms of it being a joke. It wouldn't behoove him to joke about sexual assault, being that he was charged with criminal sexual conduct recently and has upcoming trial next month. And this is an artist who went on an interview recently and talked about how serious these accusations are and talked about how serious it is in terms of how it can affect his life. Yet, he seems to be joking about it, and he seems to be dismissing this woman's entire identity, and he seems to be continuously harassing her. And the issue is people seem to not have awareness or cognizant of the fact of sexual harassment taking many different forms. And this obviously qualifies as sexual harassment. Like, this constitutes sexual harassment. There's no doubt about it. So there's all these issues superimposed on top of each other when it comes to his lyrics, his actions, his behavior, and how he engages Young M.A. and other women.
You know, despite the allegations, because obviously they do sound serious, Kodak did go on Instagram Live and said that there's no real beef between him and Young M.A. And from this exchange, I mean, do you believe that?
I mean, it's not about beef. It's about the fact that he has an upcoming trial in which he was accused of rape. And he has made statements that don't really show him in a good light in terms of how he views sexual assault and women's autonomy and anything pertaining to what he's dealing with right now. It just seems like he's not handling this in a really clear-cut manner that would benefit him as his trial approaches. And that's in his best interest, not even speaking on his best interest. It just doesn't look good, generally. It just doesn't look good.
Evie, I want to bring up the anti-lesbian slurs in the song. Obviously, to make an anti-lesbian slur as a lyric is one thing, but then to specifically reference someone, Young M.A., is another thing. Do you think that Kodak will apologize to Young M.A. publicly and even apologize to the LGBTQ community, too?
Probably not. Probably not. And I don't think his fans or the general masses will expect him to or require him to or want him to. A lot of people are chalking this up to it being the rap game and a Young M.A. being fair games in terms of commentary and in terms of quote unquote his opinion about her. People are chalking this up to him just simply expressing his attraction to her, his sexual attraction to her. But it's clearly more than that. When you look at the landscape of what he's dealing with legally, when you look at the landscape of his background, when you look at the landscape of where we are right now in terms of artists and these transgressions. We have R. Kelly, we have Michael Jackson, we have Kodak Black, we had XXXTentacion. It's not a good time to make light of these situations, is what I'm saying. So whether or not a public apology is on the way, I think is the least of his concerns and our concerns right now.
All right, well, we'll see how this all plays out for sure. Eviani, music editor from OK Player, thank you so much for being with us.